He is now powerless. Well, that's according to the Minister of National Security. The Minister of National Security has said that our former police commissioner is just a civilian now. He has no power. And there's a reality to that. And that's, I think, part of the side that wants to get the former commissioner out. I think part of the reason some of the people have that is because he was not a police officer in the first place. He didn't rise through the ranks and attain that position of police commissioner through the process of simple promotion. He was selected from outside of the police service and then put in a position to have authority. I was going to say rule, but rule gives a wrong idea. To have authority to run the police service. And I'm sure there would have been many people that didn't like that, and I think we are seeing that now. If you see me with this hat, I'm generally talking about police. I'm having a new epiphany where I really do enjoy wearing this rimmed hat to speak about police. It reminds me of an old police officer that was in charge of the Central Division. I believe he was the inspector of the Central Division during my time in schooling in and around Central. And he was one of those, he had it really good. He would just say it in such a short sentence. It was like he had it rehearsed. Whenever anyone was shot by the police, they would have had a gun first. We felt fear for our lives and we returned fire and the assailant was shot and killed. He had that down well, and he would always wear a broad rim hat. So this hat does have a special place in my heart in remembering police. And we're talking police today because the top of the police service in our country is in disarray. And I think that tells some really horrible things for our country. Some people are using it to bring back those claims of the Banana Republic and Third World, etc., etc. But I don't like that either, because the Banana Republic and the Third World descriptions generally go along with a comparative description. So we would be considered a Banana Republic as opposed to the proper republics in the United States, I suppose, or in Britain, I suppose, or we would be Third World, while the United States may be First World, etc., etc., etc. And in that tone, I totally disagree. Now, I think the disarray at the top of our police service is insane and it doesn't show good for our country. But I don't think comparatively you could look at the US and see the dysfunctionality over there and see that somehow they can be automatically seen as better than us. I don't agree with that. How their government runs isn't much better than how ours run. Because it's people you're dealing with. The problem is the people, not the systems, etc. It's the people. And this person, now Minister of National Security, and I find this strange because he went on a talk show program, on a morning program, to point out that the police commissioner, the former police commissioner, no longer has power. He's a civilian. And I find that strange because it was just weekend where he said in his phone call to the police commissioner, he didn't tell him about being suspended. And he told the police commissioner to return to work on Monday. So how would it be that on the weekend, the Minister of National Security said that during the week gone, he called the police commissioner and told him to return, not to come to work yet, but return to work on Monday when your vacation leave finishes. But now, during the week, he knows again that the police commissioner is suspended. Apparently on the weekend during Parliament, he didn't know. That doesn't really add up to me. Something there is missing. And according to the police commissioner, he said that the Minister of National Security called him before to tell him he was suspended. So he knew he was suspended, then he forgot he was suspended, then he remembered that he was suspended. That doesn't quite add up. Hines, Gary is now a civilian and holds no power. Gary Griffith is at present just a civilian and holds no power, according to the Minister of National Security, Fitzgerald Hines. Hines said there is only one acting police commissioner at present, and that is McDonald Jacob. I think a lot of these things encircling the issues, maybe putting this poor fella McDonald, well, not poor fella, the commissioner of police right now, McDonald Jacob, in some technical positions, because as far as I can tell, and of course I am not inside there knowing all the interactions, but as far as I could tell, McDonald Jacob and the former Commissioner of Police Gary Griffith were not necessarily on bad terms, at least publicly. They seem to interact pretty well. And now he is in the position that Gary is trying to sue to get back in. So that puts some technicalities there. In an interview with former Minister Boindradat Tiwari on his Brighter Morning program yesterday, Hines said Griffith is not the substantive acting police commissioner. He said the National Security Council had information before it which it could not ignore and inform the Police Service Commission. And then the Police Service Commission, according to him, would have taken the steps to hire the Justice Stanley John to do the investigation, and upon this, they would have suspended him. And according to the minister, the police commissioner the former police commissioner would have applied to him for the 10 days of leave, and he would have okayed those 10 days of leave. And then on his return, now the man cannot get back his job. So that's some interesting stuff. And the minister seems to be involved somehow in the entire process. I'd like to know how. Something I've noted though, as I've seen more articles and more stories come out about this whole thing, the acting police commissioner right now, McDonald Jacob, seems to be a man who understands how to keep himself out of the fracas, out of the middle of the melee, because I personally find generally he chooses his words wisely. Meanwhile, Jacob told the Express yesterday he does not see there being two acting police commissioners when asked if it was awkward to have two top cops. And you see how they phrased that question in the first place. Is it awkward to have two top cops? Already phrasing the question, leading the man down one path. And he said, I have a letter from the Service Commission to be acting as the Commissioner of Police. I don't see it that there are two acting commissioners per se. Remember, if someone is on vacation leave, they are on vacation leave, and this is something that is customary within the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, and that you will have an ACP who may now proceed on vacation leave and someone is acting in the ACP's place. So he's saying this isn't something strange. One person goes on vacation leave, I enter the position and I'm acting in the position. And according to him, he has the letter from the commission saying that you have the authority to act right up until this date, and he is working with that. And from his point, I agree. He was given the letter saying you are doing this job up till this point, and he doesn't necessarily have to pay mind to any of the other things. That's not under his purview. He isn't in charge of the courts with the court cases. He is in charge of the service commission with the other commissioners. All he has to do is run the police service. So I understand that. But on the other hand, what Hines is saying, that Griffith is now totally out of the police service and has no power and is a civilian, is being disputed by Griffith himself. According to Griffith, this is from a Guardian article where they're quoting what the Minister of National Security said. And in a response, yesterday Griffith said, unfortunately, the minister is wrong. Again, he does not understand the difference between a substantive acting commissioner of police, who is appointed by the Police Service Commission, to one who is acting commissioner of police in the absence of the appointed one. For example, when Stephen Williams was the appointed acting commissioner of police, if he went abroad, he was not demoted to be a DCP, but someone acted in his absence. A child could understand this. That last line is typical of the former commissioner, and I think it may be part of what keeps getting him in disagreements with a lot of the people who have control or have some say over the job. And here's one of the problems. The Minister of National Security is not supposed to have control over or say over anything to do with the police commissioner job. He could approve leave, but it's not on him who gets suspended or hired. So I think even him putting his mouth into this whole situation is drawing some attention on some strange lines. Does he have any part to play in where the former commissioner is at this point? And if he does, it shouldn't be that way. All of this is creating confusion all around. And some of the reactions we're seeing from this are resignations. there has been one resignation from the Police Service Commission, at least as of time of me recording this, and that a Police Service Commission member quits suddenly. President Paula May Weeks today accepted the resignation with immediate effect of Courtney McNish as a member of the Police Service Commission. Now, this is interesting because of who this member who resigned first is. Now, let's read his qualifications. McNish is a human resources and industrial relations expert. The person on the commission who is an expert in hiring practices and how you deal with your employees quits. I would think that tells something in and of itself. A former SWWTU branch official, so he's attached to the unions. He was IR manager, industrial relations manager at the Airports Authority of TnT, and HR manager at Carib Brewery. He was also HR manager at Trinidad Cement Limited. McNish joined Caribbean Airlines in 2008 as an HR vice president and now has his own firm in Shagona. So the guy has some time and reputation in this whole HR and IR business. So him resigning as a result of this thing doesn't bode well to the commission. And it goes on further from there. We know that the opposition is mashing the gas and putting more pressure on this entire thing. And with the opposition putting pressure in one direction, it automatically gives the suggestion that there's some pressure coming from the government in the other direction. Because for the opposition to be pushing against, usually the opposition is pushing against the government's intentions. So it kind of goes without saying that it gives the suggestion in the country that the government wants the former police commissioner out. Public will know of high-handedness in 24 hours. Now, in this article from The Guardian, we see that there are some curiosities in this whole situation surrounding the head of this whole Police Service Commission. Yesterday's Police Service Commission meeting may have been the last straw. After yesterday's resignation of Courtney McNish from the commission, there was subsequent silence from other members, Susan Craig James and Roger Kawal Singh, on whether they might resign also. Now, the commission, I believe, requires 3 members in there to have a quorum to be able to do their function. And at present, with the resignation of 1 member, they are at that 3-member threshold. So if another member resigns, I believe the commission would have to be reconstituted. That's at least, I think, how it runs. UNC MP Rudal Munilal has called on both to say if they supported the commission's decision to suspend Gary Griffith, and I call on PSC chairman, this is Munilal speaking, Bliss Sipasad, to say if the suspension was her decision or that of the Prime Minister Keith Rowley and National Security Minister Fitzgerald Hines. He added, Munilal said in the next 24 hours the public will learn of the PSC chairman's alleged high-handedness. Now, I think some of this knowledge has come out in the form of a letter that was written, an email, that was written from one of the commissioners to the chairman. And the email was also copied to the former police commissioner, Gary Griffith, and the email found its way out to the public also. So we'll be getting into that, and that shines some very interesting light on the part played by the head of this commission. And it could seem to suggest that the head of the commission is running it as a one-man or one-woman show, as the case may be. McNish did not respond to questions by the Trinidad Guardian on WhatsApp yesterday, although the messages were open. And can I blame McNish really and truly? If he has resigned from this commission, I think if I were him and I resigned, I may be seeking to distance myself from this, because if he resigned, that means he doesn't like the direction it's going in, and to speak on that can just pull him back into the whole scenario that he may be trying to escape. So I understand that from his point of view. Kawal Singh, which is another member, when asked if he would resign, told Guardian he was not authorized to speak to the media and declined comment. Craig James, who is the other member, also said she wasn't authorized to speak to reporters. And I find that interesting. The two other members in the commission, other than the head of the commission, said that they were not authorized to speak to the media. And who would you think gives them that authority or revokes that authority from them? Because we have been told so far from the president and many of the legal minds in and around this whole business that nearly no one has authority over the Police Service Commission. So if they have been told that they are not authorized to speak, who exactly has the authority to give them that gag order? Now, look at this very curiously also. The head of the commission, sources said, there's been concern by commissioners on the Commissioner of Police selection issue and related matters since mid-August when the selection process halted. This included up to last weekend when concern was expressed about the letter sent to Griffith last Friday. C. Prasad, who is the head of the commission, didn't respond. Now, she didn't say that she wasn't authorized to speak. She didn't respond. So, is it that she has the authority to speak and she is the one who can clarify all of this for us, the country? And listen, we are paying your salary. You are in an unelected position with a lot of power. Please, do not try to act high-handed in this case. It is one of the surest ways to lose trust for these institutions. And if these institutions lose trust, the Police Service Commission, which has the authority to appoint the police commissioner, and we lose trust in this commission, then how could we have trust in the entire police service? And as a country, if we do not trust the police service, we do not trust the commissions that are in places where they are supposed to be trustworthy, then how can the country run? We are setting up ourselves for a dysfunctional country. To just go back briefly over the introduction to some of the problems that we are seeing here. There were allegations made. The allegations were sent to the National Security Council. The National Security Council is headed by the Prime Minister. And it would involve quite a few politicians. But the National Security Council is a council. They don't actually have authority over the Police Service Commission or the Commissioner. So they got some allegations made against, I suppose, the Commissioner. And they hired two retired generals. And it's interesting to me how these retired high-ups always get these very lucrative jobs, and a lot of the times the result of them is nothing to benefit the country. The only benefit is paid out to them in the cash they get for doing it. So I'm suspicious of some of these things, but okay. These two generals did an investigation, and the results of the investigation, according to the National Security Council, were very interesting and brought up some very interesting and legitimate questions that they could not ignore. So the National Security Council sent this investigation over to the Police Service Commission, and the Police Service Commission took this investigation and hired their own investigator, the retired Justice Stanley John, to do his investigation on the investigations already done. So he would be getting paid, and in his investigation, though, he said he is not investigating the commissioner. So the substantive reason for the police commission to suspend the commissioner may not be there. And according to it may seem, when you see the results of what is happening inside the service commission, it could seem like only the head of the commission has the idea to keep Mr. Griffith suspended. Absence of bliss in police service commission process. Selection of new police commissioner. The Police Service Commission, the body responsible, and we know what they are responsible for. There's tension between the chairman, Bliss C. Prasad, and other members of the commission as it grapples with the challenging issues of Gary Griffith and the post of police commissioner. The commission now has 3 members, and that's enough for the quorum. Now here's where, to me, the crux of the matter lays. So, the commission wrote to Griffith first, informing him he was suspended for an issue. Then Griffith wrote back, and that was, I believe I read that on Monday or sometime around there, where Griffith said, if you are suspending me, I'm taking you to court, or you have to lift the suspension. And he wrote that letter to the commission. The commission responded to that letter and said, we see what you're saying, but we'll meet you in court. They will not remove the suspension. And the interesting thing is the response to the letter, where they said they are not going to remove the suspension, was not a response from them. It was a response from 1. Explosive email copied to Griffith. However, the issue took a curious turn on Monday morning when Police Service Commission member Roger Kawal Singh wrote to CPSAT criticizing the manner in which she dealt with the Griffith administrative leave issue. Kawal Singh copied the explosive email to Gary Griffith. It was sent out at 9:27 a.m. In Kawal Singh's email, Griffith's name was the first to appear in the copy bar. The email, which contains a number of typographical errors, is titled Response to Your Letter of September 18, 2021, stated that the letter sent to Griffith on Friday, September 17th, informing him that it was in the public interest that he should cease to report for duties, was sent by you without reference to other commissioners, and that the other commissioners did not, as requested, have the benefit of legal advice on issues of concern. So one of the commissioners is saying, and this email is being written to the head of the commission, and one of the commissioners is saying that we did not agree with the letter you sent out to Griffith telling him that he shouldn't report to duty. We did not sign off on that. So is this commission now a one-person show? And it's already said that in order to have legal quorum in a commission, you need 3 people. So that means it's understood in the law books that you do not want a commission of 1 person. So how can the commission function with 1-person rule? Stating that the 3 other commissioners were of the view that based on the above letter, that is a letter sent by the chairman dated September 18th, you indicated that the administrative leave letter will not be withdrawn. My own view was that the letter should have been withdrawn, and simultaneously we engage with Mr. Griffith in a discussion which, if agreed upon, would benefit all, Kawal Singh wrote. Kawal Singh said, and this is information coming out, this is stuff that I wanted to see, stuff from the inside of this service commission, what is happening inside. Kawal Singh said that at the conclusion of the Police Service Commission meeting, Commissioner McNish indicated that there is no agreement on the letter, and that Susan Craig James, which is the other member, so we have agreement from all 3 of the other members, excluding the head of this commission, and himself held one view that the administrative leave letter should have been withdrawn, and as chair you indicated that the letter will not be withdrawn. Notwithstanding the above, it was also agreed that Commissioner McNish would have an informal discussion with Mr. Griffith. However, whatever the discussion, your position remained that the letter will not be withdrawn. Now, I could understand this. We read what McNish qualifications were already. This man is qualified as an HR manager. He has been doing it for decades. He is qualified as an industrial relations expert. He has been doing it for decades. If you want someone to have a discussion with an employee who may be aggrieved and we're trying to get some resolution in the matter, maybe we send the industrial relations expert that the country is paying handsomely to do the job. Now, when I read this, I understand fully why McNish would have resigned. If I am trying to offer my services for my country to allow for this issue to have a smoother ending, and you are telling me as the chair of this commission that no matter what your discussion with him is, what I say goes, and that's what will happen. Listen, that's some scary stuff. This head of the commission is an unelected person. None of us voted for them. And they refuse to speak to the media. They refuse to clarify what they are doing. And they are doing it in secret, with the disagreement of everyone else on the commission. Now, to me, I think that is horrendous. And I think something needs to be done about that. And what could possibly be the reason for the chair of the commission to be doing this? Listen, I don't agree with much that the opposition says, but there is something suspicious going on there if we're seeing that the chair of the commission is speaking only and privately with the president and making decisions there, and they're speaking with the politicians and making decisions there, and the decisions are in contravention or in disagreement with the independent people on their own commission together with them. The decisions being made by the Police Service Commission are to be discussed and made among the commissioners in this independent body, not with only the chair of the commission talking to whoever else they talk to except the people of the country, because I don't know what's going on, at least not from the chair. That's all I have for now. Tell me what you think in the comments. Don't forget to click that like button if you haven't done that yet. And I hope you were educated, informed, or entertained. And I'll see you again tomorrow for the next video. And you feel the music, rising with the time.